Thank you, everyone, for making time this weekend to be here. We wanted to take some time today to remember Edea, a friend of many and a common name seen around so many communities all throughout Twitch. We're live streaming and recording today's remembrance of Edea, so the video and any comments shared in Twitch chat can be shared with his family. Looking back, I think I've known Edea for close to over 5 years now. Sometimes feels longer than that with everything we've gone through, honestly. I'll never forget one of the most difficult times of my life, how he replied with, "You know, if you need me, I'm always here for you." And how much that really stuck with me. It's rare having friends that can become family like that. People you know that are fighting in your corner, regardless of how hard times may be, and even during the times where we might be frustrated with each other, which I think if you were ever a friend with Ed, there were plenty of times where we all butted heads. Over the last few weeks, as people shared their stories with me, their experiences with Ed, it became more and more clear that he touched so many lives for the better. He raised people up, supported them, helped them build communities in their streams in whatever way they needed, and always made sure he was there for them however they needed him. I'm very grateful that our paths crossed so many years ago, that we were given the opportunity to share so many laughs together, and that a lot of those laughs got to be captured in those Tuesday community nights, and that we're able to go back and watch some of those videos to hear his laughter whenever we need it. I'm very thankful that I was able to call him a friend. I love you, Edea. I'm going to miss you more with each passing day. I'll go ahead and let PDM talk now.
Well, thank you all for coming. I know not everyone that wanted to be here could, and many of our friends don't play this game, but to those of you who are here, thank you again. Ed was the closest thing I've had to a best friend for past 6 years. When we met during Together to the Top, when that was still a thing on Twitch, and one day I hosted him looking for someone to support, and he did the same thing for me a few days later, and we had been friends ever since. He was the first and really only true moderator I've ever had in my community. In fact, Ed was actually my biggest supporter in every possible way. You name it. First sub, top donator, top cheer, longest sub, first mod, most active chatter. Hell, half the time he was my only viewer. I know there's a few of you that can relate to that, but the support and what I'm going to miss most don't stop at his generosity. He was a friend and someone I could talk to about anything, much like Soren mentioned. This was a guy who would drop just about anything if you had a problem that you needed to talk about. And that went both ways between he and I. Through the years, we've had many heart-to-heart talks, and it's that aspect of my friendship with Ed and that brotherhood that I'm going to miss the most. You know, I searched for the past few weeks to try and find the words to say here that would convey what I felt and that sense of loss, but I never found them. All I found was more heartbreak, and so all I could muster was this. I'll miss you, Ed. Love you, brother. See you on the other side. Now we're gonna have some messages from some of you guys who wanted to say your goodbyes as well.
We're going to go ahead and start off with JC the Omni Slasher. Was unfortunately not able to make it here today, but he did send a recording, so we're going to go ahead and cue that up for everybody to hear his words.
Hey Ed, it's your boy JC the Omni Slasher. Breaks my heart, man, that you're no longer here with us. I can tell you one thing, I'm already missing you, buddy. Been missing you since the day I've heard that you're no longer here. So does my community, and all of the Twitch community for that matter, and all of your friends. You will be sorely missed. But I don't want to just make this a tragic tale or a tragic story or sop up on stream. I'm not here to do that. In fact, I would rather just take a moment to celebrate your life. I've gotten to know you from some time now, and quite honestly, it's been quite the pleasure. You're always that guy in the stream that knew how to lift up somebody in your own weird way. But it was so cool. You would come in when there was nobody that was talking to me. You would come in and lift my spirits. And then when people did flood in, you would go on with your quirky ways. You would put a smile on everybody's face with your comments, even if they were crazy comments. Or something just completely asinine, you would find some way to light up the room and get everybody's attention. You are truly a man who did care for Twitch, for the communities that are out there, especially the Final Fantasy community. You are considered the God Mod, and I think that title is fittingly appropriate. There's times that I remember you bailed me out in a couple cases when I couldn't figure out Twitch commands and things like that, and you would put in things to make sure that people knew I was AFK, even if it's little quirky things like I had to take a pee break or something silly. You would find some way to make a funny command or link commands to my socials and things like that. You truly went above and beyond the Call of Duty as my moderator, and I'm sure as other people's moderators as well. And you were always the tech guy too. Anytime I had a problem, I'd sit there, I'd get really salty about things, and then somehow you knew exactly what to say to fix the problem. It was honestly a breath of fresh air having you around. If it was not just for your tech savvy or for your God Mod, but just because you did truly care about the Final Fantasy XIV community, this Twitch community of mine, all of Twitch for that matter. And I am glad that I have had the pleasure to be your friend. Like I said, it's sad that you're not here, and I hate not seeing you in my chat any longer. But you will always be my friend. You will always be family here. And you will not be forgotten. That's for sure. You are always in my memory. And I want you to know that. I honestly say I love you, man. You know, you were a true bro here. And it's hard. While it's hard to see you go, I just want everybody to know that you were genuinely well loved. Even when the moments were crazy, even when you called us all a-holes and did everything you could to deflect that you were a Mr. Nice Guy, you truly were. You were a genuine soul. I said, I love you, man. I will miss you, but I will never forget you, and nor will my community. Thank you for everything, and I will see you at one point on the other side, my friend. Love you. Mad respect, buddy. You take care.
Thank you, JC. Next up, we're going to let Sid share his thoughts here. Whenever you're ready, Sid.
Just to begin, um, I don't know Ed as much as everyone else does, but with a few years I've known him, he was one of the best friends, the best bro that anyone could have. Yeah, he was very down to earth, had guts like no other, but deep down he cared. He was very supportive, not just for me, but many, many others. We weren't the greatest streamers, but we still hung around each other every time we started a stream, along with Phoenix. We ended up being this really close trio, close family we developed over the years. We bagged, called each other out, had our funny moments together, but in the end, we were all good friends. And having Ed around as a mod made streaming much more fun to look to, regardless of how big our audience is. We all just had our good days hanging around and chatting while one of us streams. I've learned a lot from Ed, still continued to learn from him right to the very end. He never hesitated to point out my mistakes or teach me something I'm supposed to know by now. But after many years and seeing him do the same to many others, he was also someone to be respected. He gave more than he received. He did it without hesitation. I wouldn't be here today in this very spot if it wasn't for both Ed and Phoenix's persistent bombardment of asking me if I've heard of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14 meme advertisement that they keep pestering me day after day, and without fail and pure randomness whenever possible, Ed would post that, followed by Phoenix again and again, even while I'm asleep. Eventually, I gave in. With Ed's reassurance and help and support, helped me all the way to where I am now. Because of this, I felt I knew more about him, understood, respected him more. Yet this was only a small part of him, but I've never took it for granted. As I've mentioned before, he gave more than he received, and the fact that he and Phoenix as well were able to pull me through to playing Final Fantasy 14 even made me keep it. It's more than enough for me for him to be satisfied. This moment I'll never forget, as it brought me closer and understood everyone much more as a community and as a friend. It hurts us to see that he's suddenly gone from our lives. That we could never leave a good moment the last time we had in contact with him. But I know for sure that we all had our best days and times we can all recall with Ed. He had a lot to give, was still giving right to the end. I won't forget everything that Ed has taught me and given me, and all the hilarious conversations we had. Before I wrap up, there is one thing I will do for Ed's sake, and that's to get my own health checked up, keep up to date with all my family and friends, and most importantly, make the best of every day whenever I can. Ed, you'll be loved and missed by so many. Thank you, Ed, my good friend. Thank you, bro. Rest well. I'll pass it on to the next person.
Thank you, Sid. That was really well said. Next, we're going to have Creed share his thoughts. Whenever you're ready, Creed. Feel free.
Hello, everyone. Ed was a lot of things to a lot of people. To me, Ed was one of the first people to encourage me to start streaming. He was my first viewer in my chat. He was my first follower. He was my first mod. He was the literal second I got my affiliation, he was my first sub. Ed was everything to a community. He just had this air about him that would bring people together. Even when he would have a disagreement with someone. There was always the idea that you weren't against him, you were a part of him. He would bring more to that conversation just because you were there. He was a community builder. He was a part of so many different people's lives in this Twitch community, more than I can probably remember. A term you've probably already, or no, you definitely already heard was God mod. This wasn't a nickname. This wasn't any way of poking fun at him. It was a honorary title bestowed upon him by a multitude of streamers in the 14 community and in other communities as well on Twitch. Ed had this knack of being able to watch 5+ streamers all at the same time, mod their channels, and still interact in a way that you knew he cared. You knew he was paying attention and I have no idea how he pulled it off. He was very attentive, very knowing of what you needed. He he'd be in a stream helping you, setting up commands. The guy learned all of the command props for every single bot under Twitch just because he knew every single one of us had a different way of building our stream. And I just don't know how he kept track of it all. He knew which one you were using. He knew who your regulars were. He would entertain with you just small bits and pieces that made this place so much better. Ed was, in a way, a completionist at heart. Not just video games. I mean, he did play video games to completion, especially if he loved something. He would always boast on how he got a platinum in a game, and he would be excited and share that excitement with you, especially if it was something that you were currently going through. And it wasn't the oh, you need to get to this point in the game. It's, oh, I can't wait to see what you think of this coming up. He always had a way of making you excited for what was coming next. And that mentality, it went beyond just gaming and streaming. He was a completionist at heart, at building with other people, with friends. He never wanted to leave anything unfinished. And that's just how he made you feel. He knew how to make you feel complete with just a simple conversation. Some witty little remark, a joke maybe, something that brightens up your day. It's a small piece, but it was more important than anyone could have imagined at that moment. And so, Ed, this isn't goodbye forever. This isn't where we leave things off. We will all remember you. We will all sing your praises, even if we can't find the right words at the right moment. So, to you, Ed, I have one last gift. Your true job mastery in this game. Enjoy it, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Creed. I do definitely remember every time he would complete a game and he would share that screenshot showing that trophy from the PlayStation screen. I think what we're going to do right now to try and give as much time, we do have Vento who would like to share. I know that they are getting held up by work. So I think what we're going to do next is share some community messages that were written, and we'll read through some of those. They weren't able to be here, or they just were not comfortable sharing on VC. So I think I'll go ahead and let EDM go ahead and read a few community messages that were sent your way.
Uh, so the first message we have is from a member of my community, Spyro. Um, he wanted to say, I'm at a loss for words. Ed was family. We love and miss you, Ed. The next message from Matt Foley. No words. Much love to his family and all his many friends. The Count Starnberg sent in a message. Not gonna lie, I tried to think of something to say for this, but I don't do grief well, and it destroys me. When I first got here, I guess our brand of comedy just bounced off each other perfectly. This chat, despite having all you guys here, it feels empty, man. In a selfish thought, I half expected this to be some long con joke we could roast each other about for months, like I'd show up and he'd still be here, cutting up with the gang. I'm gonna miss you, Ed, and wherever we meet in that wild blue yonder, you'll always have a seat at the table. The next message is from Captain Roddy. This is from pretty much immediately afterwards. We didn't know what happened, so he said, I hope it was peaceful for him, whatever happened. He was a fun and generous guy. And a mutual friend, Jakenheimer, mentioned, I wish we hadn't grown so distant. The man could talk about anything and sound great doing it. Edea did a lot of voice work for me free of charge. Thank you, friend. I'll miss you. And so who Jakenheimer was to Ed and I, obviously a friend, but we also were part of a wrestling e-fed on his channel. And I happen to still have a clip of Ed doing a short promo for his character. And so I'm going to play the audio for it here in just a moment. And for those of you who don't have any way to remember Ed's voice except in your heart, hopefully this will give you just a little something to hold on to him by. So we're going to play that now.
What in the hell is wrong with you? I can get behind underhanded tactics to win matches or get one over on the opponent, but what in the hell do you want with her? I do not approve of this, and if I see any foul play going on, I won't idly stand by. You have been warned.
It's so weird to hear his voice and him not be here, but I'll hold on to that for quite some time. So I'm gonna hand it over to Soren, and we'll let him mention some from his community next.
Thanks, man. It's kind of perfect timing right after Creed shared. I have a message from Gus here. God Mod, I'm gonna miss when we troll Creed together. I'm gonna miss yelling at you to go to bed and asking you about the future because you were a day ahead of us. But most of all, I'm gonna miss your laughter. It was so contagious. I could have the worst day, but as soon as I heard your laugh, it would brighten it up. Please keep an eye on Smokey. I love you, Edea. Riley Rars wrote in, this is so hard to comprehend. Edea was an amazing person, and someone who I always looked forward to seeing in chat. He'll be missed so much. Sending internet hugs to everyone. Probably going to say this name slightly wrong, so I apologize. But Sonic Girl, I think. Edea, you were one of the many great buddies that would always message me to see how school, life, and everything was. We even got to joke around and give J. Martin Sassy so much crap throughout the many months. Thank you for always being the big brother. Rest easy. BDM, I'll let you go ahead and read a few more.
Thank you, Soren. So the next message is from Carl Lobster. Rest. Sorry, we have a Spotify ad in the background. Rest in paradise, Eddie. Thanks for being my mod and friend for 5 years. I promise I'll fix my stream and bots and commands and my PC in general. I hope they have a copy of the new Saints Row up there and all the games you planned on playing. The next message is from Rowan Dench. And it's not so much a message, but a memory. And Rowan didn't really have the words to say to convey his loss, but he remembers the first time, or one of the first times that he and Edea met, and he had just started streaming. And of course, I can't do this story justice without the clip, but unfortunately, the clip didn't have Ed chatting in it. Anyway, he was streaming and he's still getting used to his setup, and as we all have come to know and love Ed for doing, Ed began to troll him, and he was typing in /me chat, and he started typing /me and then quote banning people from the chat, and Rowan legit started thinking that these people were banned. And then Ed did the same thing, but he quote-unquote banned Rowan from his own chat. And Rowan actually stopped the stream thinking that he had somehow been banned from his own chat room. And then, obviously, he found out that it was a troll, and yeah, the rest is history. They were friends after that. I'm sure they were friends before, but that only served to kind of deepen that bond there. And he says he's sorry to hear that it passed. The next message from Leafomania. I didn't know Edea very well, but from what I did know and what I gather, he was just a genuinely good person, and I'm sorry for the loss. Another message from Balazar Foredragon. Ed and I always knew him as Captain Bleed. He was another person we met together through the top. He says, it was funny one day, I was watching Sassy, and she was playing a horror game and screamed, which woke up Edea, and Ed was talking to me and cursing, and it was hilarious. It hurts so bad because I feel like I lost a member of my family. I'm going to miss all the times he'd come in to chat and always tells me to shut up, or whatever words he would choose to use that particular time, or all those times that he's called me a dingus. Ed was so awesome and funny to have in chat because he gave us all crap. Next message is from Lisa M. I'm so sorry to hear about Edea. I didn't know him well, but I know he's a big part of the community, and I'm sorry for everyone's loss. And another one from Luna Blossom. I'm truly sad to hear about this news. He was hysterical and funny. Who am I gonna DM now to make you jealous? All right. So that's all the messages from my community. We'll hand it back over to Soren.
You had me smiling, sharing that story about Edea calling people dinguses. That was definitely a favorite of Edea's. The next message is from Warren. I remember when I first started streaming on Twitch years ago, Edea would be a frequent visitor and chatting with me. This is something I thought was amazing, creating friendships on an international scale. I always remember Edea always bringing smiles to so many creators. I know he touched the lives of many and will be missed by more. My condolences for the friends and family going through this difficult time. Nothing but love from Southwest Florida. Thank you, Warren. Next two messages I know are from people that were very close with Ed, so hopefully I do them justice. Every time I go to write something like this, I feel like I need to write it to Ed directly. Because it's very clear every time I look over that his name is there, but he is not, and it's just not okay. So I'm going to write this to Ed, and I hope that somehow he knows, even if at times I'm bad at believing in much. Hey, big brother. I just wanted to say I miss you, and I love you. Nothing can fill the strange void that you seem to leave behind inside me. The very big void you leave behind in everyone you engaged with. You are and always will be loved, and I want for you to know that you made it possible for so many of us to also care for each other and branch out and spread that feeling. I'm going to miss raid nights with you. I'm going to miss just seeing your messages pop up and the silly things you would tell me that happened in Soren's streams. I'm going to miss every single time you reluctantly joined Realm and I, even though you hated whatever game we might be playing, just so you could be with us and laugh with us and be there for us. I hope somehow that you felt we were there for you, or that I was there for you, even if maybe I became busy as of late. I'm so angry that you're gone. I'm angry at the world. I'm really having a hard time accepting it, but I will never forget you. How could anyone who was lucky enough to have you in their lives forget you? You were a big soul, Edea. You were a big part of a family that is going to miss you. Please be safe and happy wherever you might be. Be okay. I love you. Love your sis always. Alice in Wonder. And the next message being from Realm. It took me too long to write something, mostly because I don't know how to put into words what losing Ed has made me feel. It's painful and empty, and every day without him hurts more than I could ever describe. But I love you, and I miss you, Ed, big brother. I hope wherever you are, you're happy. Thank you for being the big brother I never had. Thank you for being there for me through thick and thin. Thank you for encouraging me to just be myself, to do the things I love, to be brave enough to tackle the things I never thought I could. I think about you every day, and this will never stop. I'll love you forever, Ed. Your little sister, your forever friend, Realm. Honestly, I could not have put into words my feelings like those last two messages. So thank you for sharing those, you two. Next up, we're going to go ahead and let Vento share his thoughts. So whenever you're ready, Vento, feel free, take your time. The floor is yours.
I just need a second. Because as soon as I sat down and logged on, I was already on verge of tears. And just hearing like everyone else's words really, it's really hitting home right now. My first time interacting with Ed, so way back in the bygone days of the City NT. The first thing I said in Soren's chat was probably the worst pun in existence, and I got timed out for 30 minutes. And Ed told me to go sit in the corner and think about what I did. And from there, it was just such a great friendship. Like, anytime I was feeling down, Ed was there, put a smile on my face. He's what I call an equal opportunity bully. You know, he just pick on me, pick on everyone, and it was always in good fun. He was always there, always brightening the mood and just making people laugh and smile. I wish I'd had the time to get to know him better, like, you know, some of you guys did. But regardless, I still count him as a very close and special friend. I found out about his passing 2 days before my birthday and had an emotional breakdown on my buddy's couch. It didn't fully really like set in until after I got home from vacation. And it's hard to imagine that he's gone. He was always so upbeat, so full of energy, and just, you could always look to him for some kind of positivity. It's going to be really hard because, like, whenever I go to Soren's chat now, since he passed, I expect to see him there. And he's not. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. I'm going to miss him. And I don't think that pain's going to go away. But I know one thing. Wherever you're at, Ed, once I get there myself, I'm gonna suplex you, buddy. I miss you, man. Sorry, I'm done.
I definitely know what you mean, Vento, when you say that you expect him to sort of be there. Definitely share that struggle. Thank you for sharing. Real quick, I just want to again thank everybody who took the time to send any messages in to be read today, making time to speak today. This is all very difficult, but I'm very thankful and I appreciate that everybody has been able to come together here. If there's anyone who did not get the opportunity to send in a message or speak, I'd like to say feel free to share your thoughts in Twitch chat. Feel free to share your messages there. I think we have one more PDM you said that might have gotten sent in. Would you like to read it?
Yeah, thank you. So a quick message from our buddy Alpha Gruffy has specifically to me, but kind of to all of you. And he wanted to say that Ed is judging your backlog right now. I'll miss you, buddy.
Yep. There's definitely a lot that I have to work through for sure. Before we wrap things up then, like I said, I welcome anybody who did not get an opportunity to send in a message or speak. Feel free to write in Twitch chat anything that you would like to be said. It will be sent to the family. But we're going to go ahead and take a minute or two as a moment of silence. Thank you.
So I didn't have anything extra come in on my end. Soren, did anybody else want to share on your side?
No, I think we're all right.
All right. So I'm just gonna give some closing remarks here then. So Ed, as many of us have already mentioned, was a well-known name among so many communities across Twitch, and he impacted so many people's lives. There wasn't anyone quite like Ed, and let's be honest, there won't ever be anyone quite like Ed again. He always stood up for his friends and was willing to help however he could without question or hesitation. He might give you a little crap for it, but he was always there. He'll be missed greatly. And as a word of encouragement to everyone here, we all grieve differently. Some of us take a few hours to process things, others take much longer. And it's okay to hurt, it's okay to cry, to miss what we've lost. But the words of one of our dear friends comes to mind at a time like this. A smile better suits a hero, guys. Ed was a hero in a way to many of us, and everyone here is a hero to somebody else. So let us look forward and remember our friend Edea fondly as we carry his memory into the future. Think of the bonds we share, and remember, you are not alone.